Good morning. I have a very hoarse voice still. Just getting some stuff together here. All right. Welcome in. Welcome in. I apologize for the hoarse voice. I was in East Denver, and I am from the south of the United States. I'm used to humid weather that is hot and humid. It was cold and dry, and it wrecked my voice, and my sinuses are a little messed up too. Well, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. All right, we're going to be talking about, in general, Sol and the huge announcement. We'll be looking at DeFi Tuna and some good options for setting up some pools on DeFi Tuna, as well as lending, and some of the stuff that I'm doing on Meteora right now as well. Will, Alex, and guest NFT user, good morning. Interesting weekend indeed. It has been crazy. My ARC pool has been ranging down here really, really well. Even at the bottom of the range, I'm averaging just under 0.5% a day on 10K, which is really, really good. It's been moving up and down with the market, and I expect as Sol continues to move up, that this will move up into the top part of my range. But been earning really, really good, roughly $100 a day, maybe even a little more. Actually, I think I'm compounding this more often than day. Trash Token Sniper, welcome. We're going to keep adding to this. I'm adding to it, and I don't even really need to add to the Sol side, but I can. It ends up not being as much. But I usually will just do a spot position like this. Did I buy more ARC? Oh, yeah, I did. That's why it's doing that. I forgot I was spot holding some ARC. We'll do that. We'll add a little bit to it. Put us around 12K, I think. Maybe 11. Jacio, good morning. Sonia, good morning. Good night from Indonesia. Yeah, you're literally on like the exact opposite side of the world for me. So it's probably like 10 or 11 p.m. your time, if I had to guess mix. So I currently have this ARC pool. You can see ARC has, been fairly volatile within this range here, which is actually really good for the LMMs. And what's crazy is that let me move these back to blue. What's crazy is that it's stayed within this range. You can see I bought here and here. It's stayed within this range while the price of Sol has gone up and down, which is kind of crazy to see. But it's good, right? I mean, it was all the way up here. This is like when Sol was like 190, 200-ish. And when it dropped, you can see it came down here. But like even in the midst of it, it's actually stayed in this range pretty well, which has been good for my DLMM here. I've been earning about 0.5% at the current range here, but as it moves up, we'll look to earn some more. Let's see what Sol's doing today. We're on the 15-minute. Let's just go to the 5-minute. I want to look real granular here and see what this looks like. It's hard to tell here what's going to happen, but I would think if it's going to drop, it's actually not going to drop too much further, like down to the 153. And this is just on the day. This isn't like long term. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a dip and then a bounce back up here. That's the 5-minute. When looking at the 15 minute, it looks like the RSI is showing that it could be slowing, but is going to drop a little bit, which is why I think it'll probably come to the 153. On the 1 hour as well, is showing that drop. And I imagine on the 1 day, it'll be similar. Well, actually, on the 1 day, it's actually showing that the RSI has just crossed and is widening for it to keep going up. So and when I say the 1 day, that's just the 1 day chart. That's not actually like it's not just for like the day. Normally, like a 5-minute chart is what you look at for the next like 2 or 3 hours. A 15-minute chart is what you would look at for like the next 6 to 8 hours, or maybe 4 to 6 hours. The 1 hour chart is like 8 hours to a day, and the day chart is over the next like few days or even a week. Is how I kind of view it. And so the 1 day is actually showing it coming up here, which makes sense because of the big buys that happened yesterday. And the 1 hour is showing it coming to a slow, but it hasn't crossed back up yet. Same on the 15-minute. And on the 5-minute, it's showing that it might be. So I think it could dip a little bit more, but it looks like overall, over the next day or two, we're looking at it going up. I'm currently in Elvis. What do you think? I'll take a look at it mix. The volume's a little low. The dev is buying and selling like crazy. I don't know who the dev is. It says it's 100% rug probability. So I don't know why it's showing that, but there's no snipers or anything. So maybe I would say the dev already rugged, but they're also still buying. Elvis Ape. Okay. I mean, it's got a decent amount of Twitter engagement. It's at 314K market cap. Holy smokes, dude. Yeah, I mean, I can't really give a ton of like what I think about this coin. The volume's like mediocre, and but it's just way too low market cap. Like I have no idea what it's going to do from here. It could easily rug or it could do well. It's hard to know. I mean, it launched today, so I wouldn't mess with it. I'd wait, see what happens later on, and then go from there. Personally, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just not one that I'd want to look at. Yeah. So what's interesting is normally whenever I'm looking on Good Morning Good Night, or I'm looking just at meme coins, trending coins, if you go to like the 1 hour or the 6 hour, you'll see a lot of the major coins, right? Like Swarms is making a comeback. Interesting. You'll see like ARK, Fart Coin, you'll see Trump Coin, you'll see like a bunch of junk, but then you'll also see some other like big coins, right? On the 6 hour or the 1 hour. Like that's pretty normal. Pingu, ALK, like all Cerebro's down here. Like a lot of these, like the Cerebro is got tanked. Holy smokes. But yeah, you'll see a lot of these. But normally when you go to the 5-minute, those all get filtered out, and you'll see a lot of the like more like lower market cap meme coins. But even on the 5-minute, you're seeing Trump, Fartcoin, ARK, Vine, Pingu, Cerebro, all these different coins. It's a sign that people are really wanting to invest in the things that have shown that they're not going anywhere, and people are putting money less into the meme coins. It doesn't mean you can't find some good early meme coins. It just means it's much less likely, which is why for me, I've shifted from like the super fast meme coins trying to earn. I mean, this has been a shift over time as the market's changed into doing a lot of like these major coins. Like ARK is one that I like a lot. Where I'm doing that on Meteora. I'll do some Sol USDC on Meteora, but then a lot of what I'm doing is trying to get some higher earnings on like Sol USDC or like Jupe Sol, excuse me, things like that on DeFi Tuna. Sol USDC is showing some stupid numbers right now. %34% if you're, I mean, this is like a very tight range, but that's pretty high. So if you put like $1,000 in, and you're earning 30, let's say 32%, you can make $320 if it just stays in range for one day, which seems kind of crazy. Again, though, we can look at this and it's like, we're looking at 153 to 162. It's like it's a somewhat tight range, but just to keep it in range for a day actually isn't that bad. Like, oh yeah, Jupe. I was just looking at Jupe. Because the bounce happened right around the 154 range on these. And so if you think it's going to hold there, that could be a good spot. And then 162 is like the next support is like 160, or the next resistance is around between 163 and 167. So it could go above that. But honestly, it's not a bad range. So this is with a 3x. Obviously, go to 5x and it goes even higher, but you're also going to take on more impermanent loss. So I don't recommend that. I recommend, like, if you're doing this, if you're trying out leverage on a DeFi Tuna LPing, I would just use 2x. I wouldn't go any higher. Themed, what would you set up now on DeFi Tuna? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. I would set up a 2x if you haven't done this before. Okay, just get used to it, figure it out. If you go 50%, you're delta neutral here. Oh no, you're not delta neutral. I just didn't put any money in yet. Yeah, sorry. If you're 2x and you're at 50%, you're going to be at a SOL long. You would have to completely borrow 100% of SOL with the borrowed money, and you'll be in a delta neutral, which is if you think it's going to stay like perfectly within the range. You don't want a long or short. You would do that. And so obviously you can go wider as well. If if you wanted to go to like 160, closer to that 165 we were looking at, and down a little bit, like 151 here, still earning 22%, which is like insane numbers. The big thing here is that you want to earn as much as you can, and then whenever you're still near your entry point, is where you'd want to try to close out at. So earn as much as you can, but ultimately close out as close to your entry point as possible. This is a slight Solana long here. And you can earn, anywhere between 25, 30%-ish, depending. If I'm wanting to see like on the day, I'd be looking between like the 15-minute and the 1 hour charts if I wanted to hold it for 24 hours. And so you can see here, it's still showing a dip down, but it could be slowing. It's a little hard to tell, honestly, on both of these. And so is it going to bounce off this 154, 153.5, 154-ish? Or is it going to keep going? It's going further down. It's hard to know. And so that's where you have to kind of make that decision on DeFi Tuna. Maybe right now you only do a 2x to reduce the risk, and maybe you go more 50-50 like this, and your earnings are a little bit less. But because I'm a little unsure of what the market's going to do, maybe this makes the most sense, right? And we set it up more delta neutral by doing this. Yeah. So we would borrow SOL 100%. We would be 3.5% on either side, roughly. Go a little lower here. There you go, 3.5% on either side. Still earning 17% a day on a SOL USDC pool is absolutely insane at 2x. And if you wanted to go a little bit more, you could do 2.5x and come back to delta neutral here, or even 3x to be able to earn a little bit more. I might do 2.5x, and we'll put ourselves at a delta neutral like this. And let's take a look at SOL, where it's at, what it's doing here on the 15-minute. Yeah, it looks like it's going to come down, but if it looks like it's going to come down further, we could always get out. I think this makes sense, though. Something like this, I think I'm going to put in. And then after, what I'll do is I'm going to put in 50 SOL here. You see I have like 200. But after SOL dips down a little bit, if it does bounce, then I'll probably create a new pool and I'll be SOL long. But until I know, until it shows me a good direction change, I think I'm going to do this. And I do no swap. I'll manually swap myself. And then I'll always set the limit order at like just outside of the range in case I want to in case it looks like it's about to reverse, but like no one's perfect, right? On like guessing what this is going to be. And so if it gives me a little bit of room for it to move out and come back in. You can see the leverage. It's so far away from liquidating. But there's two things with leverage. One is the liquidation, which is usually not an issue because it's so far away as long as you have limit orders set like this. Excuse me. And then the other thing you have to worry about is that when you increase your leverage, you increase your potential impermanent loss. And so we're going to be at a 2.5x here. Do it just like this, and I'm going to create a position. But earning 20% on Sol USDC is absolutely insane. But there's just a lot of volume on it right now, and this could go down some. Showing that it's not going to go through. It could go down some, the yield, but I mean, even if it was 10 or 15%, it's still pretty insane. Like this is like meme coin range as far as like how much. It's saying it's not going to go through. I'm not sure why. I'll confirm and see if it does go through. I wonder if Sol has enough volume that I need to increase my priority fee. Oh, no, it went through. Okay. There you go. We created it. Let's refresh and see if it pops up here. Welcome in, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. I'm a little hoarse. Got some sinus stuff going on. Did it create? I'm not sure if it did. It said it did. The transaction said it wasn't going to go through, so we'll come back to it. I'm curious. Swarms is one that I hadn't looked at in a while, and it's apparently doing pretty decent. The volume's mediocre, but I'll be interested. I'll be watching this one off to the side. Yeah, ARC 1 hour volume 800K is really good. Jupe is one I'm watching as well. I'm surprised Jupe came down this low. This is actually really interesting. Might be a decent spot to get into it at and go long on it. But yeah, I was just watching these here. Might have to reset up this pool. Let me hard refresh and just see it. About the IL, you can see it while LPing when you look at debt, right, on DeFi Tuna. Well, the debt is what you're from borrowing the money. It's what you're paying to the lenders. That's not impermanent loss. But really soon, like hopefully within the next week or two, they'll have some new like calculators and some new tools that they're going to be coming out with. I don't know for sure. That's just my my guess. They told me that they're working on it, and their hope is to get it out pretty soon. So we'll see. All right, we got there. We are delta neutral. And we're going to set up the limit orders. We're doing 50 Sol here. Let's try this again. No swap, no swap. 149, 164, 5. All right, 50 Sol. Leverage 2.5x. There we go. Position. Let's create it. Let's hope it goes through this time. I'm not sure why it was saying what it was saying. There we go. Showing that it'll go through now. About the IL on DeFi Tuna, bless you. Thanks. Yeah, no problem, boss. Yeah, as far as the impermanent loss, when you create your pool, I know that I have 50 Sol worth. And so 50 Sol at 157.6 roughly. What shows it right here? Total size 19,692. So you just need to record this number right here, the 19,692. And as this goes up, as this goes down, or yeah, that's your impermanent loss that you're taking. So if like this goes to 19,600, well, 19,600, I've lost $92 on the total TVL. And so I'll need to see the yield here offsetting that impermanent loss to be able to be in a gain, if that makes sense. We're up to over 150 people watching today. Thank y'all so much for being here. Because of my voice, this will be a shorter call than normal. Also, the market is kind of in a place of searching, trying to figure out where it's going to go and what it's going to do. And so we're just watching that right now live. A lot of the meme coins aren't going to be popping off until we see a little more certainty in the market as things move up. And so we'll, so there's not going to be a ton of meme coins. We might see some new ones pop off here and there. But ultimately, what we want to do is try to find the ones that we want to invest in that are going to be here long term, like ARK and Fartcoin and things like that are showing good, consistent growth. Those are the ones that we want to be in. And so we want to create some, LPs and things like that off of that, earn, solid amounts, keep compounding into those and growing from there. And so we have like our ARK Sol pool set up on Meteora. We're using DeFi Tuna to get some way above average yields. Which we can see here. Pretty crazy. Oh, look, here you go. Oh, they have compound now. Amazing. This is amazing. When did this happen? How did I miss this? I guess I did not see this yesterday. They didn't even post about it? Oh, wait, is it under a major announcement? No. They haven't even posted about it. You can compound now. So without you don't have to. This is huge, guys. This is massive. So you used to have to open and close your pools a bunch. They reduced the fees on opening and closing, making it way more friendly. And now you can compound. So look, I made $2. I could just compound this back in. I can just keep compounding it. This is amazing. Like this makes it DeFi Tuna pretty massive. Oh look, Sol just pumped up a little bit. Pumped up a lot, actually. Wonder what made it do that. Look, those are big candles on the 5 minute. Look, I just created this pool and we put in 50 Sol, right? And I was just looking at like what my total amount was. And so if I close this and I don't do a swap on DeFi Tuna, it looks like Sol might be going long here, actually. Oh, it's showing that I'm going to get it in USDC. Interesting. What if I close it and I swap it back to Sol? What's it going to show me that I get? 49.32. I wonder if part of that is the swap. If it moves too far away from my entry point, that I'll take the impermanent loss from that. But Sol's looking like I said, I was waiting to see what it was going to do. What we'll do here is we're going to wait for it to test here. And so, I mean, the MACD is showing it coming up here. So we want to see, is it going to break above this? Or is it going to retest and come back down? And so if it breaks above, we're going to close out of our DeFi Tuna pool. And we will, and then we'll make a new one where we're so long. If it does not do that, then and it retests down, then we'll just keep it open. I was going to see if there was any big news, any other big news. Also, Super Exchange is really cool. I've been checking it out. It just seems like a really, really cool place. You can, once you buy tokens off of here, which it needs more hype. It needs more users for sure. But you can buy their super token, which can only be bought like through earning points that you get. And based on your activity. And then you can buy super, which we've bought some. We don't have a ton. But you can see it's up 2,754%. Of course, we only got $86 worth. But obviously pretty good there. But we'll wait to see what Sol does here. And And then if, like I said, if it bounces back down, we'll just keep the pool open because we'll earn pretty good off of it. But if it breaks above that 159-ish area, I don't want it to push too far this way. And so if it does, then we'll just close out and we'll make a new DeFi Tuna pool where we're slightly more SOL long, like 60 or 70% SOL long. We'll just keep watching it. Late to the game. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, BBJ. It has to close above 160. Baz. Yeah, I guess it is closer to 160, isn't it? It's like 159.5-ish. And there's some previous right here at 159.9. Yeah, so between 159 and 160. But right now we're just going to keep holding it. It's a good spot, it looks like. Soul bounce on the 200 MA, Gerard. Yeah, right here. So Gerard, what do you think it's going to do, man? Based on it doing that, what do you think? But you can see we put in 7,856, and within minutes we've already earned like $3. Our debt is like almost nothing. You can go to the lending side, and you can see we're borrowing SOL USDC. So our SOL is at 20. Sorry, that's the utilization. The borrow APY is 18.8% on the year, which is obviously stupid low. That's APY, so that's compounded. But even if it's APR, you can take 18% divided by 365, and it's 0.05% per day, which it's probably a little bit less actually because it's not compounded. And so 0.05% is pretty low. And then USDC as well, 22.5, so a little bit higher there. And you could always come lend here and get almost 10% on your USDC, or it shows 5% here on your SOL. This is actually super low. This averages around 15% on the month. So it's normally much, much higher. Sometimes it gets in the 20s, but it averages around 15. USDT.D fell below 5%. Let that baby drop like a rock. I don't know what USDT.D is, Dre. What is that? But yeah, the key with DeFi Tuna, like I said, because you're leveraged, you want to try to stay as close as you can to your entry point. And so you could always close out and reset it if needed. Are you equal time on Meteora and DeFi Tuna? Yeah, I mean, like every day I'm not exactly equal, Will. But yes, I use both a lot. Like, I mean, you can't do like meme tokens or anything like that, or like I wouldn't even consider ARC a meme. It's like a utility token, but you can't do these on DeFi Tuna anyway. And I still want to farm Meteor's airdrop, and I still like Meteor as a platform. I think the earning potentials are a little higher on DeFi Tuna in the current market that we're in. But I do a mix of both. I'm going to mute myself real quick so I can blow my nose. All right. Dude, I hate all this gunk. I had the flu like real bad like a month ago or like 5 weeks ago roughly. And then I had all this gunk for like 2 weeks after, and it finally went away. And then I fly to Denver, Colorado, and I get it back. It's unfortunate. I wonder what the cost to compound is. So like, I'm earning $4 or $5. Is it worth it to compound it back in? Like, should I just compound it all the time, or I assume the cost is just a transaction fee. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or sorry, 4 zeros. Yeah, so it's not even 1 cent for me to compound. So you should just compound all the time. It's just free. Like, it's just free, basically. Well, this one's 0.007, still less than 1 cent. So as long as the network fee is pretty low, it went through. So you can see I've compounded $5.20 now into the pool. I got a range semi-long 139 to 200. Is it a good idea? Rins, that seems like pretty wide, and so you won't earn as much on the yield, but it's honestly a super safe range. And so if you're comfortable there, it seems like it's a pretty good range to me. It'll probably stay between 139 and 200 for a while, in my opinion. But if it starts to move up too much or move down too much in one direction, you might want to rebalance it. But I think that's a good spot. So even though it was showing the network fee, you can see here that there's a priority fee I paid, and then there's the actual fee I paid ended up being a little bit more. And so it ends up being about a little over 2 cents is how much I paid for that. But again, if you have like a few dollars in it, it's worth it to compound if it's just a few cents. If the network is super congested, don't do this because you'll end up paying like more. You might have to pay 30 or 40 or 50 cents. And so that can eat into your profit. But yeah, I mean the ability to compound like this now is absolutely insane. Like if you could just keep a pool open, like yeah, I mean honestly, this is crazy. Like because you could do a Sol USDC pool at just 2x leverage, and you can go like a Sol semi long like this. And like stay in range probably for a pretty long time, and you're earning 4.25% a day. Like that's some crazy numbers. You know what I mean? Like again, could it come back down too far? Break down below 145? Yeah. The big one here 153, and then obviously it's like all the way down here at 140. So I mean, I guess you could, if you really wanted to be safe, have it around that 139, 140, like Rins was suggesting in YouTube. 140, like right there. But again, we're so long here, and we're still earning 3.72% a day. Like this seems really, really good. Themed asked, how long would you let it go before closing it out? I mean, I would let it go as long as I can. You want to close it out as close to entry as possible. But if you've earned enough yield over time, then like you can close it out not near entry and still be in like a lot of profit. You know what I mean? I might try this out and see like how long it'll stay in range like this, earning 3.76% a day, and then just like compounding it like a few times a day, maybe. Like every time it hits 10 or 15 bucks, just keep compounding it in. I need to create like I have a daily compound calculator that I've shown y'all. But this is now, I can do this now and be like, all right, we're good. So this is what we're going to do. If we're looking at something like this with this wide of a range, I should be able to keep it within this range and close it out without too much impermanent loss. But let's say it does move a little too far to one side or the other, and I have to close it out. I'm going to assume that I'm taking like a 2% impermanent loss. which is like would be roughly what it would be if I closed it out like halfway between here and here, or like roughly halfway on either side. Okay, this is just rough estimates here. So let's say I'm earning 3.75 or 3.7% a day, but I would take impermanent loss. Like, let's say I can keep it in range for 2 days, and then I need to close it out. Well, I've earned 3.7% times 2. I've earned 7.5, but then I take a 2% impermanent loss. So now I've only earned 5%. Let's cut that in half. Let's just say I have to close it out every day. So I'm only earning like 1.5 or 2% a day. Let's just do 1.5 because I just want to do this. I'm going to do $10,000. Obviously, it can be 1,000. All the percentages are the same. But if I just do it for 1 month and I do this every day and I daily reinvest 100%, now I can daily reinvest twice or 3 times a day. But if I just do it like this in 1 month, my $5,865 is now going to be worth $15,865. So off of, or sorry. My 10,000 will be worth 15,000. So I would have earned $5,865, which is just crazy. It's really, really good. And obviously, if you can keep doing that in the future. Now, right now, Sol USDC is really high because of the market. And so this won't last forever. And so you might end up having to tighten your range, or you might end up having to, do something different. But yeah, for the most part, if you can earn this as best as possible, just earn it while you can, right? Earn it while you can is a great way to look at it. What is Jupe Sol doing? Jupe Sol is probably not nearly as high. Yeah, you can earn 2% a day on Jupe Sol if you do it on a tighter range like this, or if you do like 2x, 4%. But I would go wider probably. I'd go at least 3% probably on either side, if not 3.5. Try to keep it in range as long as possible, but still earning 2.69% a day. Again, like really, really good. How much is 80 Jupe? That's not that much. I'm going to set up a Jupe pool as well. See how long I can keep this one in range. Like that. No swap, no swap. 2x. We're going to go delta neutral on this. We're just doing a 2x here. We're going to be completely delta neutral, 50-50 either side, and create a position like this as well. We're doing a smaller amount here. I'm just using a little bit of Jupe I have left, basically 30 Sol worth. So I'll try out a few pulls. I'll see what's doing well right now in the current market. I'm doing a Jupe Sol here, 3.5% on either side. We have our Sol USDC pool, and we might do a wider Sol USDC pool as well. We'll see what that looks like. How to calculate your % IL upon reaching your outer limits on your pool. I mean, you can manually do this. You can use a impermanent loss calculator. You can just look them up. They have them. Soon enough, though, they'll have like the calculator. So they added the compounding feature, which is really cool. You can see it's coming back down here close to our entry point, which is great. They added the compound. They'll be adding like a P&L feature soon so that you'll actually be able to see that. That's going to be coming next. I'm pretty sure. So, but you can look at it yourself. You can just tell something what the two tokens are, what the prices are, and what your range is. CoinGecko, I mean, they're all over the place. So you can put like asset 1, price change, the weight, which is like the price of it. Or no, this is just the percentage. So if you're 50-50, in Sol USDC, Sol moves 3% or 3% on these. Let's say your Sol USDC, Sol moves 3%, USDC moves 0%. You can go through and do your whole calculator here, APY, your returns, all that kind of good stuff. This is on CoinGecko. You could also do like Whiteboard Crypto. He has some great YouTube videos in general around like DeFi and stuff like that. So like asset 1 changes 3%. Starting token price. So Solana's at 158 and Sol is at $1. And Sol goes down to 154. And this one's still at $1. Wait, what happened here? Starting price. What? Why is it not what's happening? Anyway, you can go through and find these calculators and figure it out. I'm not going to do it right here, but you can figure it out. And there's a bunch of them. Just mess with them, and they can show you how much your impermanent loss is. But you can see, like, we've already made $10. So we've compounded 5 of it. And we've only taken on 9 cents of debt. So, like, the lending side of it, like, you're not really taking on a lot of debt. The biggest thing on the lending side is the impermanent loss. Which, again, like we've been earning here, we're close to our entry price. And so if we were to close out and swap to Sol, we're probably pretty close to the 50 Sol that we put in here. But over time, as this goes, like the goal is for that to go higher and higher. When I swap to Sol as well, I think it affects it. Yeah, we're pretty close to 50. So you need to stay in range as long as possible. That's the most important thing. Is increasing your leverage also in shortening your range? No. So if you're increasing leverage, you still can choose your range. So like I could go, 4x leverage here. And my range is just adjusted here. So 2.9 right here and 2.2. You can see if I adjust it here, the range is still the same. The borrowed asset is just like, so your collateral is how much you're putting up. So in this instance, I'm putting up 50 Sol. And so that means if I'm doing 3x, that means I'm going to be borrowing 100 Sol worth, right? If I do a 2x, then I'll just be borrowing 50 Sol worth. And so, and then you can choose like whether you want the borrow to be more USDC or Sol, which affects whether you're going long or short on your position. You can go fully long, you can go delta neutral, or if you want to go shorter, you would actually have to increase your leverage like this to actually go short, which you could do if you wanted to. So I could do something like this. Still earning 8.51% a day, wider range. Again, you could do like a wider and a shorter range like this to see, because like if Sol pumps very heavily, then obviously like your shorter range one, you'll need to close very quickly. Whereas the wider one, you can keep it, and that pump may have it reverse back down, in which it would have made sense to have the wider range. And so it kind of helps offset. So that can be something that you do as well. And so you always want to be watching these. This isn't like a set it and forget it, because with leverage, you will take impermanent loss more than usual. And so, I mean, unless you're doing 2x leverage, delta neutral, and you're like what one of the guys mentioned earlier, like 130 something to like 200, well, you may not need to watch it every single, like all day, every day, but you still want to check in on it like at least once a day. Or maybe even twice a day to see where you're at. So we got 3 different positions we're earning. We're going to hop off very shortly here. I wanted to show you all this, as well as our ARC position, which is earning, it's showing a little lower here, but that's because we just added to it. It's actually earning closer to 0.5% a day. And I think as Sol moves up over time, which I think in March we will see it move up, March is historically a good month for crypto. The unlocks have happened. People bought a ton. I'm sure there was some selling action here from that. Some people taking profits off of long positions and things like that. So this is a normal drawback here. I think we'll see it more accumulation, and it could move down further for sure, but we'll see more accumulation in this range. And before it moves up, I think next week we'll see it move up pretty good as well. Can we calculate a good time to get into ARK? I mean, honestly, ARK's kind of at the lower end of its range. You could get in now. I would wait. It looks like it's actually about to do a reversal on the 5-minute. So it may be a good time to get in now. You could wait for it to go a little lower. If you think Sol's going to dip lower, it'll draw it in. But I don't think this is a bad spot to get in. I mean, you can see it's just below the middle of the range that it's been in for the last, two or even like 3 weeks. Yeah. All the way back to February 15th. So 3 weeks. Even before then, it kind of was in that area. Obviously had some spikes here. Should have sold some here. 400, geez. But I expect we'll see something similar to this again. Move up, sit, move up, sit, move up, sit. I expect that to happen here as well as Sol moves up. So you got to make that choice for yourself, but it's not a bad time now, in my opinion. As always, I don't want to tell people what to do. I want to help educate so that you can make informed decisions without needing my help. I am going to hop off. I appreciate it so much. My voice is destroyed. If you're liquidated, all your collateral doesn't disappear, but a lot of it will, RINs. If you're liquidated, just make sure your liquidation zones are well out of range and you have lower and upper limit orders, and then you won't get liquidated. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much. We'll check back in Wednesday. We'll have another stream. We'll talk about how well this is doing. I'll probably make a post about it as well, either later today or tomorrow, because these are earning really, really well. I appreciate y'all's time. Thank y'all so much for coming out and watching. We'll be back again, keeping y'all updated on the market, what we're thinking, and as well as the kind of individual positions and things that we're making as well. Y'all have a great week. Thank y'all again. See ya.